and you couple it with a positive attitude, the sky's the limit for you. And I think that the more that we can encourage them and say, hey, it's okay to do this, set up meetings, come into the office, find time to network, ask questions. Don't just sit back and wait. I think that's important. I think the other part that is challenging for Gen Z is, there was we study, and the TED Talk that I did some years ago was on the contagiousness of emotions in the workplace. And so we study workplace emotions. And to kind of cut to the chase, not all emotions are equally contagious. This will come as no shocker. Post-pandemic, the most contagious emotion is anxiety. And so we have a little bit of an anxiety epidemic right now, particularly with our young people. And so they're anxious and they're concerned and they're worried. And there's a lot of reasons. They don't want to fail. They see these perfectly perfect social media profiles, and that puts extra pressure on them. And so it's hard for them to take a risk. So I think one more thing that we can do as leaders is encourage them to take risks, but make that a little safer.
Yes.
Let them know that you're there, you got them, that you're supporting them. If they fail, it's not the end of the world. They'll learn from it. It's developing those resilience skills and I also want to be fair about this too. We're talking about a generation in blanket terms. That's absolutely not the reality.
Absolutely.
There are Gen Zers that are just thriving and operate like boomers did or Gen Xers did. Right. And then there are some that are struggling a little bit. So we're talking mostly about how to bring along the ones that are a little more the latecomers. But there are some that are thriving right now. So, but I think these are some extra things that we can be doing.
So let me pivot off of this great groundwork you're laying. I mean, you laid some amazing groundwork. So there are three things that come to mind. One is I want to talk about failure, because you and I are a combination of our failures and successes. You and I did not have all success in our career and then suddenly we made it. We have absolutely, we are the sum of our failures. So I can look back at failure and struggle and adversity throughout my entire life. I learned from all of it. It shaped who I am today. We also need to be conveying that it's okay to struggle and fail. We need to let people see, to your point, hey, if you do struggle, here's what you can get from it. Here's the lesson from it. And I think leaders have an opportunity to tell their true stories, not about here's how I made it to the top, but let me tell you when I was at your level of my career, how I endured a lot of adversity and really help this generation understand and embrace the need for resilience. If you go through struggle, you'll build resilience, which will help you for the rest of your career. So that was one of the things I got from what you just said, and I just wanted to add that flavor to it. I think the second is credibility. You and I talk a lot about professional credibility. And this is something that I'm always telling students on campus and young professionals. Credibility is interesting because no one will ever tell you that you're not credible. When's the last time you heard that in a conversation? Mike, you're just not a credible person. But credibility is something that affects everybody. And if you're a Gen Z, if you're a young professional and you're wondering why you're not moving up the ladder, why you didn't get the promotion, why you got skipped over for the raise, why you didn't get the internship or the job, maybe, just maybe, you didn't show up as credible. Maybe your social media profiles were suspect. Maybe there was something questionable there. Maybe you weren't courteous or professional. Maybe you didn't show gratitude in the interview process. Maybe you were not responsive in communication, something that you talk about a lot. All of these things, when they're not done well, can absolutely contribute to you not being seen as credible. And you know what? That older generation that's interviewing you, they're going to go to someone else that is credible. So that's the second point I would make. The third and final one, we've been skipping all around it and talking about it, but we're talking about mentorship. But it's not just one way. I think our generation needs to invest and mentor this generation, but there's so much that we can learn from them too. Listen, to your point, there are some amazing Gen Z young professionals out there. I know plenty of them. These are rock stars that are going to run the world, and I'm excited about it. And I learn from them every day. It's not just me dispensing wisdom. I am learning from them. So I think that we've got to make sure that everyone understands that we have something to gain from each other.